For months, rumors, headlines, and whispers have followed Can Yaman everywhere he goes. Every move, every look, every word he says is twisted, reshaped, and turned into another headline. But this time, Can Yaman decided to speak for himself, and what he said left everyone completely stunned. The Turkish star, known for his passionate performances and mysterious silence off-screen, finally broke that silence. Sitting calmly in an interview setting, his tone was serious, his eyes steady, and his words, simple but powerful. "Nothing you heard was true," he began. That one sentence changed everything. Because for months, people had been building stories. Stories about his relationships. Stories about fights, jealousy, secret calls, and even emotional breakdowns. But Can Yaman, in that moment, wanted the world to know the truth was far from what people imagined. He spoke about the pressure of fame, about being constantly watched, about how it feels when every photo becomes evidence of a story that never existed. "You smile in a picture," he said, "and suddenly they say you're in love. You look serious one day, and they say you're heartbroken. You can't win." Those words reflected the frustration that many celebrities face but rarely talk about. For Can, it wasn't just about the rumors, it was about protecting his truth. "People forget that behind all this, there's a person," he added. "I've learned to stay quiet, but silence sometimes lets lies grow." The interview continued, and when the topic turned to Demed Özdemir, the one name always tied to his, the room went quiet. Can didn't look angry. He didn't deny or confirm anything directly. Instead, he took a deep breath and said, "Demet will always be someone I respect. But people have turned something pure into a circus. It hurts to see that." That moment felt honest. It wasn't a denial. It wasn't confirmation. It was emotion, simple and real. You could see in his eyes that he wasn't angry with her. He was angry with the stories built around them. The endless speculation that made every smile look like a secret message. "People don't understand that we had something special, even if it wasn't what they think," he said quietly. "We worked hard, we created something beautiful, and we cared. But what came after, it was never fair." Fans around the world immediately reacted. Some were heartbroken, others defended him, and thousands praised his courage for speaking up. For the first time in a long time, it wasn't about gossip, it was about truth. Can admitted that staying silent for so long wasn't easy. He wanted to protect his peace, but at the same time, every lie became louder. "Sometimes, you let people believe what they want," he said. "But then, one day, it becomes too much. You can't let your silence define who you are." His honesty caught even the journalists off guard. No rehearsed answers. No PR filters. Just a man tired of being misunderstood. And that's exactly why his words resonated. Because behind the fame and the headlines, there's still a human being who feels, who gets hurt, who wants to be seen for who he really is. When asked about the recent headlines involving his supposed relationship with Sarah Bluma, Can simply smiled. "I don't live to prove anything to anyone," he replied. "People can believe what they want. I know my truth, and that's enough." He also opened up about the toll that constant speculation takes on his family. "My mother reads things that break her heart," he admitted. "She calls me, worried about things that aren't even real. That's when I realized it's not just me suffering, it's everyone around me." And perhaps the most emotional part came when he said, "I'm not the man the rumors made me out to be. I'm not perfect, but I've always been real." That sentence summed up his entire message: authenticity over gossip, truth over drama. As the interview wrapped up, the host thanked him for his honesty. Can stood up, smiled politely, and said one final line that stayed in everyone's mind: "The truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to be told once." That single moment, shared across social media within minutes, went viral. Fans from Turkey to Italy flooded the internet with messages of support. Hashtags like #CanYamanSpeaks and #NothingYouHeardWasTrue trended worldwide. People started rewatching old interviews, old clips, even fan videos, looking for hints, for meaning, for the truth he had finally revealed. For many, it was a reminder that celebrities live under a microscope, and that sometimes, what we think we know is just an illusion. But for Can, it was something more. It was a turning point. A release. After years of silence, he finally felt free to speak, not for attention, not for defense, but for clarity. As one journalist wrote after the interview, Can Yaman didn't just deny rumors. He reclaimed his voice. And maybe that's what makes this moment so powerful. Because in a world full of noise, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to finally speak your truth. That's exactly what Can Yaman did, and the world listened. After the interview ended, the reaction didn't stop, it only grew louder. In just a few hours, clips from the conversation spread like wildfire across every major platform. Fans were quoting his words, sharing screenshots, and writing long posts about how refreshing it was to finally hear his side. For once, it wasn't about the drama, it was about understanding the man behind the fame. Journalists tried to twist his words again, but this time, the fans were the ones defending him. He finally spoke, one fan wrote on X, and you can feel he meant every word. Another comment with thousands of likes read, "This is the real Can Yaman, calm, strong, and honest." Even some of his industry colleagues quietly supported him, sharing subtle emojis or hearts under the interview clip. Everyone knew that for someone like Can, who had built his career on discipline and silence, speaking out wasn't easy. It was a choice made from exhaustion, not publicity. And while many expected a scandal, what they got was maturity. Can didn't attack anyone. He didn't point fingers. He simply set the record straight and let the truth breathe on its own. In the following days, people started seeing him differently. Not just as the handsome star from Erkenci Kuş or the global face of Turkish drama, but as a man who had endured years of speculation with quiet strength. "Silence can be misunderstood," he said in a follow-up statement. "But I'd rather be misunderstood for being quiet than be fake for attention." Those words perfectly captured who he is. Calm, sincere, and grounded, even when the world around him is full of noise. And maybe that's why people admire him more now than ever before. Because in the end, truth always finds its way, and this time, it came straight from Can Yaman himself. In the days that followed, Can Yaman kept his promise, no more silence, but also no more drama. He returned to work, focused on his projects, and refused to let gossip steal his peace again. Fans noticed the difference. He looked lighter, more at ease, finally free from the weight of constant speculation. When asked if he regretted speaking out, he smiled softly and said, "Not at all. The truth should never be something you hide from." That simple answer showed that this wasn't a publicity move, it was a personal step forward. Social media remained filled with admiration and respect. Even people who once doubted him admitted that his words had changed their perception completely. Can Yaman didn't just defend himself, he reminded everyone that silence doesn't mean weakness. It means patience. And when he finally spoke, his truth was louder than any rumor ever could be. As the storm slowly faded, one thing became clear: this wasn't just another celebrity story. It was a lesson in courage and authenticity. Can Yaman's calm strength reminded everyone that honesty still matters, even in a world obsessed with gossip. His words continue to echo among fans who now see him not only as a talented actor, but as a man unafraid to stand up for himself, and to say, once and for all, nothing you heard was true.